Welcome back to Killer Fun, where we explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week. I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we're so glad that you're back with us today. Today, we are talking about Am I Being Unreasonable? A British import to Hulu. We're going to talk about episodes 1 and 2. It's mostly episode 1, but a little bit of episode 2.
Yeah, this is a short season.
The whole season, the whole series. They call it.
Oh, sorry.
British people call each season of a show a series. So the first series, the runtime for the whole 6 episodes is a little over 3 hours. So it's like a long movie.
Really, it is. It goes by very fast.
It does. They leave you with just enough of a, what's that called?
Cliffhanger?
Cliffhanger, thank you.
That's the word.
Brain fart. That you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? And it's so easy to just keep going.
It is easy.
Uh-huh.
It is easy. Although there were a few episodes, because I did finish the series. Towards the end, I think it was like episode 4, I remember being into it enough that I literally even clicked the button because 15 seconds was too long.
Uh-huh. Yes.
But my overall outlook on the series is that they did a really good job of recreating and sort of refreshing Dead to Me.
Oh, that's fair.
And they even used the same name. So there's a Jen in both.
There's a Jen in both. Oh.
And the characters, like the main character, Nick, has the same complexion and sort of like very animated personality, like the way that Christina Applegate played her character, and which was Jen. And then, of course, Linda Cardellini played Judy, but Judy's character was so much like the one in this series, Jen, named Jen, and it's like their whole little relationship was kind of the same in a lot of ways. It's not the same story.
No,
it's not.
But it's got enough of the same themes.
It's got enough of the same themes that it was really kind of like, all right, but also been done.
Yeah, but it's only 3 hours. So
and so totally worth it.
Yeah. not a big time commitment.
No. And and you could sort of do other things. Yeah, but they also have a really great recap at the beginning of every episode.
Yes, they do.
So should you miss something, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, and you could even be watching it and they do the recap and you realize, oh, that's important.
That's important. Mm-hmm. They do that for you. So yeah, it's good. I like the fact that they do that overall. It wasn't underwhelming, but it wasn't whelming either. Okay. Is that a word? Sure. What are the synonyms, antonyms in this situation? I don't even know. But it was like, I wasn't meh. Yeah. But I wasn't exactly like, yay.
That's fair. I can see that.
You know what? The only thing I can think of is from French class in high school. Comment ça?
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Most of the characters are pretty unlikable too. And I think that I'm kind of glad it wasn't longer because they could be really likable and really funny, but they did enough that I was like, you're not a good person. I don't want to spend time with you. Because that's how I judge all the characters in shows is like, would I want to go out to dinner and have them go to the movies with you?
Right. Would I want to talk to you about it afterward?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, the more I got to know these people, the less I wanted to hang out with them.
It's true. They had all their sides revealed, which is what I like about the show.
Sure.
I like the fact that, like, I don't know how many more times I can say the word like, but I feel like we're edging towards a drinking game now. I enjoy the fact that the characters are complex.
Sure.
I felt like they told that story very well. Mm-hmm. And I felt like at the end, there was a little, I don't know, not necessarily vindication, but some mitigation of what I held them responsible for.
Sure.
In certain ways.
Yeah.
Which really, that's complex.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's enough misdirection.
Yeah.
Throughout. I mean, you're always like, well, who is this bastard and why are they lying to me?
Every episode.
I mean, every episode. So I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Overall, I'd say I really like the show.
Good.
But yeah. And I mean, aren't we all unreasonable at times?
Oh, I think so.
I mean,
I think so.
I know I am.
Mm-hmm. I am definitely.
All right, so this cast. Daisy Mae Cooper is Nick. She's the creator of the show, along with Selene Hisley, who is Jen.
Jen.
So the two of them, these fast friends, are the creators of the show. And I've heard good things about Rain Dogs, which is coming to HBO really soon.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. Then, as I mentioned, Selene Hisley is Jen, the co-creator. She's had lots of one-off appearances on British television, including Law and Order UK.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey.
I thought that was fun. David Finn is Alex. He's in Avenue 5, which Daisy Mae Cooper was in and wrote for. So they have a shared history. They've worked together before. Dustin Dimitri Burns is Dan. He was in Slow Horses on Apple TV with Gary Oldman. And man, I tried to like that show.
I really tried to like that show.
But it lives up to its name.
Wow. Isn't it true?
I mean, and then Lenny Rush is Ollie. Despite being just 14 years old, he's done a couple of period pieces already. He was in 6 episodes of a show called Dodger about the infamous pickpocket, The Artful Dodger.
Oh.
Which I was like, oh, that's fun.
Okay, I saw that listed and I was like, I don't know what that is.
I looked it up because it looked interesting.
Okay.
And then he was also in the FX miniseries A Christmas Carol as Tiny Tim.
Oh. He's adorable.
He's so cute.
And I don't want to be offensive about it, but he's just so adorable.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, he's got this cute little face and with his sweet little blonde hair. Mm-hmm. And then, he's also got this diminutive frame because he's a little person.
Yes.
And it's like.
And his facial expressions are so good. Mm-hmm. Like the comedy is so subtle, but there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's really good.
It is
his performance on the screen, some of the ways that he would just handle his mom, manage her. Some of the attitude kind of faces that he had that are not typical attitude faces. He comes up with something new.
But they came across very authentically as 8 or 9 years old too.
That was bananas.
Because he's really a very precocious 8 or 9 year old, but still within that age range.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Fart jokes and all those things.
I mean,
it's really funny. So let's recap.
Yes, let's do.
So Nick has a tragic event that we don't really quite understand the scope of at the start, even though we see much of it at the very beginning. That's the first thing we see. But then we see Nick's normal life. She's a bit of a bored housewife. She's lonely. She's kind of unhappy in her marriage. She's selfish in her relationship with her son, but very caring at the same time. After her son, Ollie, has been at his school for 5 years, Nick finally makes her first mom friend. So Nick and Jen have the same loud, quirky sense of humor, but Jen seems to be hiding something and is engaged in some surreptitious videoing on her phone that makes us question her motives. Profoundly broken from grief and deception, it's easy to be delighted by and annoyed with Nick in equal measure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So critics love this, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
The audience score was actually a little higher than I thought it might be. And I think that's just because we love a Brit. 82%.
It's true.
It's true. We're charmed by your darling accents.
We
hope that you are also charmed by American accents.
I also think that I'm charmed by the sense of authenticity that they bring. And it's in the shows. I don't know. You can only guess that at least represents some truth in the society, right?
Right.
But there's something about the deadpan, but also
absolutely hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. And then also the just... the audacity they have to speak so frankly to one another, without also having it carry over to just stupid, mean girl drama.
Right.
It's really interesting, and I'm here for
There's a level of acceptable honesty.
Yes.
that is
Not okay here.
Right. It would be so rude. Let me clutch my pearls.
Yes, you have to be nice and calm. All of those nice behaviors that got you gold and green stars in kindergarten. If you were a girl. Yeah. And if you were a boy, you just got told you weren't good enough because you didn't succumb to that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is ridiculous.
It is. I tried really hard my whole life to be more demure, and I am just not demure.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
And it's one of the things I like best about you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there were no exotic locales. So it makes sense that it was all filmed in England.
It was an entire exotic locale to me.
The whole thing was an exotic locale.
The idea. Okay, I know. I like kind of like city life in a lot of ways or whatever. Okay, well, I am absolutely charmed by the idea of a small enough town where you can walk places.
To get to school.
To places. And to do things like that, I'm overwhelmed by it. So I loved every bit of it. And their house was amazing.
It was so cute.
Oh.
It was so unassuming in the front, and the backyard was big and beautiful.
And it's super modern inside.
It's super
It was all the things.
It was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It filmed from December 2021 till February 2022. It aired in England starting in September of 2022. There's a place called the Bottle Yard Studios on Whitchurch Lane. I love that the British can just refer to the road something's on.
Oh, I know.
Because, we live in Texas in the United States, and it's all the big.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all the big.
Yeah, it's all the big.
You could say on San Pedro.
Right, yeah.
And you're talking about 100-mile span.
Well, for real, but there might be dozens of San Pedro streets all over just Texas, let alone the United States.
Right. And now I'm from Georgia. The problem is with Peachtree.
Right.
It's everywhere.
Right.
And sometimes they catch you up and they'll actually have peach tree, 2 words. It makes no sense. But yeah, it doesn't help at all.
Yeah. And they chose Bottle Yard Studios. That was kind of their base. And then there was enough city and rural locations around that they could just about walk to stuff.
I mean, amazing. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Different filming locations and stuff like that.
Amazing. But it was
Super
cold.
fun. It was cold.
They had a lot of snow situations. And I got to tell you, we could tell the difference.
Yeah.
When it was fake snow and when it was real snow, which comes into play later.
Yeah.
It comes into play later because all of a sudden you realize that fake snow might be a fake reality.
I hadn't made that connection.
I didn't until it fell out of my mouth just now.
Astute.
Not even. I mean, literally, as it's coming out of my mouth, I'm like, It was cold and snowing. That snow looked awful. Wait, that was.
Do you do hedgehog hunts in the snow?
I don't even know because that seems weird.
We'll talk about
You were going to talk about that.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm going to talk about that.
I don't know, but I just realized it now. And the fake snow, it was like kind of stupidly fake. And now it's all making sense.
Right. Exactly. If you like the show, good news. It's been renewed. There will be more episodes.
I will watch it.
I will watch it too. Whatever my concerns are with whatever flaws there might be,
I will put them aside.
I'm going to watch the next 6 or 3 hours of the show.
Absolutely.
If you have found yourself in a relationship that's suffering with infidelity.
Yes, that is a central theme here.
It really is. And you find that out pretty much immediately.
And then it unravels worse as the time goes on.
Oh, it just keeps going. InfidelitySupportGroup.com is there for you. They have all kinds of resources there, no matter which way you decide to go, whether you're going to try and work it out in the relationship and repair it, or if you're going to separate. They've got all kinds of resources for you and ways to connect with others who are in the same situation, whether you've made a decision either way or you're still kind of on the fence.
Cool.
So
good.
Yeah, do that.
Do that.
And then we'll be right back after this quick break with Is It True? Psychology Break in Real Life.
So here's how it works. Christy wrecks her search history. Hey, NSA, we promise it's nothing more nefarious than a podcast. To find out what's true, some of the psychological motivations behind the characters' actions, and real-life applications that relate to our topic. I have no idea what Christy decided to look up. Could be the same thing that captured my curiosity or something I never thought of.
Is it true? So, Ollie rode this adorable little Segway type scooter.
That was amazing.
I'm like, this is so smart.
It's so smart.
Okay, so there are a number of companies that make these of varying qualities. Mm-hmm. You can see this one's pretty light, but as far as I can tell, there aren't many that make them specifically for little people.
Okay.
So they have to be modified.
Okay, so this is like custom.
Yeah, it would have to be either custom made through a particular organization. Now, I couldn't tell if in England they have it. It's a small population of people that need these. But there used to be a company called Little Scoot, and they had a manufacturer that made these, and they were able to make some specifications. And then because they were having it made, because the father and the son are both little people and the wife is average sized. Okay. They were able to do modifications and still honor a warranty and all that stuff. Well, the manufacturer they were using stopped making this particular model that they were using. So they don't offer it anymore. But they talk about how they have a Segway Mini Pro that they like. So basically what that is a Segway that most people would stand on it, and it would come up to about your knees, and then you would use it like that instead of having a full handlebar to hold on to, which to me sounds like death because I'm going to need something to hold on to.
It's like the hoverboards.
Right.
But like a upscale hoverboard kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And more responsive, more reliable. Right. So, but in order for to be able to be used by this particular family, they have to modify it because every little person has a different need. They, the son needs a seat, so they have to attach a seat to it for him to be able to use it well and have it be safe. Okay. But they're so maneuverable, it makes it worthwhile, but they void the warranty on them. Right. Or because they're made for an average sized person who's going to have it only come up to their knees, and it is a level to which they would hold on to with their hands, they're too light. And so the the scooter thinks that there's not enough weight on it, and so it's not going to go. So they have to modify it in order to be able to accommodate and work properly with their weight. That voids the warranty.
Right. So everything you do voids the warranty.
Right.
It was so cool, though. Once he got on it, I was like, what? That is fire. I'm in love with this.
There's just no worrying about, can he keep up? Is he uncomfortable? Is he, there he is. Can you imagine him as an 8 or 9-year-old kid at school?
Being able to
to just go and just do.
Yeah, and not have to be, not that wheelchairs are terrible, but if you've ever had to deal with it, whether yourself or a family, you know that over time, if you're not somebody who is in the chair permanently and therefore has a certain level of accessories and situations going on with the chair, but sitting down like that and using it can,
cause its own issues. Yeah. It can keep you from participating in things. Yeah. Because he's standing upright.
Yeah, he gets to...
It's more like he's just a smaller person in a group.
And he's still working his muscles. Everybody used to think that, we'll get on the Segway and then we'll all be like puddles because we won't walk anywhere. I'm like, I'm sorry. When did anybody think getting on a machine that requires your leaning and balance to maneuver it means your muscles aren't working? If your muscles aren't working, neither is the Segway, honey. Okay. But he gets to continue exercising his muscles this way instead of, So, I don't know. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Was cool.
Nick wonders if her neighbor and fellow school mom, Lucy, doesn't like her because she didn't sign up to bring potato salad to the hedgehog hunt.
I'm like, there are so many things about this.
I'm like, the what hunt? Are we boiling hedgehogs?
I mean,
are we...
First of all, I have never...
But why would you need potato salad at that? Is it a side? What is this? What is a hedgehog hunt? Why would anybody want to eat such a cute, spiky creature?
I've never seen one in the wild.
Oh, well, they're much more common in England.
I guess so.
They're
that
like,
would be delightful.
yes, but House Beautiful in the UK had a whole article about this. It was a thing that kind of started in 2020.
Oh.
It was a thing that people could do because the hedgehog population in the UK has been on the decline.
Okay.
But they live in the wilds there.
All right.
But
they're hunting them.
Okay, but they're not hunting them really. It's called Hedgehogs After Dark, and it's a science experiment where they're gathering data from people. So people's gardens, their yards or places, what they call a garden there is your yard.
Yes.
That's their general term for it. Whatever you have in it are places hedgehogs like to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Protected and, open and relatively safe and whatnot. Okay. So what they did is, this was especially helpful in 2020 when people were in lockdown, but they wanted to get outside and do things that were safe. They could do a hedgehog hunt. And if they found a hedgehog, record their behavior and submit it to the researchers.
Well, that's adorable.
I know, right?
That's super cute.
So cute.
And
so
I guess
that's what a hedgehog hunt is.
Okay. And I guess if you sent everybody out and you come back and then maybe like you have some potato salad.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like we're gonna do a potluck where, we believe there to be hedgehogs in this area. We're gonna do a little hedgehog hunt and then we're all gonna come together and share our findings and have a potluck meal together.
That's awesome. All right. So here's the thing for our listeners. I want you to go on our social media and I want you to comment and tell us all different ways. Don't tell us about yellow potato salad. Tell us about some way to make a potato we haven't thought of yet.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, if it's a special kind of potato salad with
or
something
if it's special,
exotic, I want to hear about that.
I want to hear about that. But I want to hear about different ways we can make
have
potato.
a Thai potato salad?
Ooh.
Because I could be on board for that.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or some way you make potatoes, not au gratin. Not just
different.
fried. Something like we have made tomato souffle or tomato. Not tomato. Potato. Potato souffle.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Nick and Jen, the mother friend that she has made, finally after 5 years, get kind of friendly and they find that they like one another while they're manning a Splat the Rat booth at a school carnival.
Yeah, this felt very disconcerting.
It's a common game to have at these sort of fairs.
I mean, they kill a rat?
It's not a real rat. It's just a rat, the rubber rat that goes down the pole. You drop it so you put it nose first.
Okay.
Down this little tube.
All right.
Drop it. And then in order to win the candy, the kid has to hit it with a bat before it touches the ground.
Okay.
So it's like whack-a-mole.
Ish, yeah.
But just with one rat and you get one turn.
Okay.
It seems very on brand for the British to me because the whole Black Plague, we're still punishing the rat for it. So
poor rats. They're so cute.
Except when they're not.
Except when they carry the Black Plague. That's fair.
That's right. Except when they're mean and covered in disease-ridden fleas.
Yeah. I don't like it when they're mean. I don't like it when anything that's cute is mean.
Right.
Right? You're less cute then. But most rats are...
They're fine.
They're fine.
They're smart enough. So Mr. Miyagi went missing in the dinosaur costume.
Oh my God.
It was so cute. They're super affordable. And because, we are in April of 2023 right now, if you are looking for a dinosaur cat costume, they are very affordable right now.
Oh,
They're
now's the moment.
And under $10. So if you want to dress your cat up for Halloween.
None of those are going to fit my cat.
No, they aren't. They're not going to fit your cat.
No.
But you, dear listener, if you have a cat that you would just have to see in a dinosaur costume, it was pretty funny.
It was pretty great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a
Stegosaurus. They'll hate you, but they're going to hate you for something anyway. You might as well look cute while they do it.
I mean, right. And if any of you Bengal owners out there have an idea for a costume, then at me because my Bengal does not do costumes. Because nothing fits.
Right.
Everything's too small.
And not shaped right. If
Not shaped right.
made for a dog that's about the same size, it wouldn't be shaped right.
It's still not shaped right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because dogs that girth generally have tiny little legs.
And the chest is bigger on the dog.
Right.
Whereas on my cat, it's all
one
legs. And like,
Yeah. So Ollie is having a birthday and he really wants money. And I thought it seemed a little strange that he's like 8-9 years old and was so interested in the money portion of it. So that got me, what age should you give kids money?
That's a good question because kids do develop differently.
Right.
Right. But he was like a little, blooming filmmaker.
Right.
And so in his mind, he was like, I've been through this. I've had a kid like this who had hobbies that far exceeded the typical gifts. Like all he could think about was gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, give us money because but it's not because he wanted money. He just knew what he wanted.
Right. And he knew nobody in particular was going to get him something of that particular cost. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what Finance Yahoo suggests. They said if you're just going to give money because you don't know what else to give, that age starts 12, 13.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Unless you have a kid who has a hobby like that with particular equipment. Cameras is exactly what they mentioned.
Oh, hey.
So, yeah.
Apparently, that's an expensive hobby for all of us parents.
No matter
and wives.
whether you live in the U.S. or Europe or elsewhere.
Yeah.
Old Trafford, Dan, Alex's brother, and Alex's wife, Susie, are talking about getting a memorial seat at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
In remembrance of the first anniversary of Alex's death. We'll get into who Alex is in a little bit because I didn't mention him much. It is the home for Manchester United, one of the biggest football leagues.
Yes. If you watch Ted Lasso, we are really aware of who Manchester United is.
That's right. Everybody knows who Manchester United is.
Yes.
So this is their home turf. It's been nicknamed the Field of Dreams. It has been home to the team since 1910. It is a big deal to a lot of people. So it is definitely.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Nick picks up her cat, what she believes to be her cat, at a place called Whistledown Animal Rescue.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, is there really a Whistledown Animal Rescue? I'm like, I need to know this.
Yes. Is there?
No.
Okay.
But I think where the name comes from is Bridgerton.
Oh, interesting.
Because they have a little gossip magazine in Bridgerton. That's the whole thing. And it's written under a pseudonym, and the pseudonym is Lady Whistledown.
Oh.
I think that's where the Whistledown Animal Rescue is because this is a scandal.
Yes.
You don't know it yet when she picks it up.
Right.
But they make a point of showing the name of the animal rescue when she walks into it. The angle is really low so that you make sure that you see that sign. And I think it's a Bridgerton reference.
I think that's right. I think you're onto something there because it is kind of a scam. Although I don't know how the lady would know it was a scam.
No, I don't think she.
But we know it.
But we know that it was salacious in some way later.
Right.
We learn later that this act of picking up the cat is a bit salacious.
Yeah. Not the Whistledown stewing, but nevertheless.
Right. Well, but Whistledown in Bridgerton only reports things.
Right.
Typically.
Okay.
So I said we'd get to who Alex was.
Yes, let's talk about Alex.
So Nick was having an affair with Alex when he got his jacket caught in a train door and tragedy strikes. And it was a long-term affair.
Long-term.
5-6 years. Long time. And then we find out that Alex is Dan's brother.
Right.
So, all in the family infidelity.
Man, this was it is hard to talk about this and only refer to the first couple episodes. So I'm going to apologize right now because I'm not going to try to spoil it, but I might say something. So if you haven't watched the whole thing, maybe, I don't know, pause and go watch the rest. But like, I'm going to try not to. But I got to tell you, this whole story, this gets this takes some turns.
Yeah. So I was like, how common is this?
Yeah, how common is that?
So Psych Central has an article by Abe Cass. He says there are no credible statistics about how often this particular kind of affair takes place, but they are, he believes, not rare.
Yeah. Thanks for the insight, bruh.
Yeah, because basically it arises out of opportunity.
Yeah,
these
that
are
makes
people
sense.
who are around often, that you have a lot of contact with them over weeks, months, years. Maybe you see them every day. Maybe you only see them a few times a year, but you see them every year or every few years. You have a contact with them. You send one another Christmas cards, maybe exchange gifts. Maybe they're a part of the, family gift exchange or whatever.
Right.
Where
It
everybody
makes
draws.
sense.
Yeah, it does.
I
make
mean,
sense.
because there's a weird closeness and shared history that doesn't have to be gone over. And yet there's built-in distance.
Right.
So it's a strange thing.
Yep.
I can't help it. I know they weren't brothers, but I think of Love Actually.
Oh, okay.
With the best friend situation.
And they say that too, that basically best friends fall into this almost family category.
Right. And so like
Because-
he's in love with her, but doesn't say anything because of the bro code, and then it's too late.
Yep. It's particularly hard because if you have infidelity, normally in a normal sort of situation where this is more common, you could just cease all contact with that person, and that helps you heal your relationship. Now, if it's a brother or a nephew or whatever, an aunt, whatever kind of relationship this is, because they're a family member, it can make it really difficult.
Yeah, that's complex.
And there's also the element of, why is this family member doing this to their other family member? So why did Alex choose the wedding day as the moment to tell his soon-to-be sister-in-law, the woman who was about to marry his brother, that he loved her?
It's funny because you mentioned that, and I'm thinking, this is why there used to be this traditional should anybody object? Because sometimes it's like you don't know what you have until it's gone, or you don't know that you love something until it's gone. And like that, the importance and the urgency of the wedding date to me seems to spur somebody to feel like, oh my God, it really is now or never.
Right.
And that can motivate.
Sure.
So you give that opportunity.
Sure.
But nobody wants to have that opportunity publicly. But I'm not surprised that that happens sometimes, because I think that if you are in love with your brother's wife, soon-to-be wife, the fiance, you might keep it under wraps, but then all of a sudden you see them about to get married and you realize you have to actually engage with this person in a different relationship. And then all of a sudden it's very motivating. Like, say something and hope that they call it off. We don't know, because if you've watched the end of this series, you don't know.
Right, you don't know.
You don't know that's motivation.
You don't know what's...
So beware. They may not just want you to call it off.
Yeah, it might have been a way of getting back at his brother for reasons we don't know.
Yeah, and continuing that and having fun with that. And if you'd called it off, they would have dumped you.
Right.
So maybe take it with a grain of salt if that happens to you.
Right.
Like, oh, wow, super flattering. It's my wedding day. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you don't end up alone in any hallways.
Right. Don't do that. Don't do that. We see that in a flashback later, y'all. Keep watching.
So, railroad deaths.
Okay. Thank you. We have to talk about this.
We're going to talk about more of it later.
Okay.
So, in the real life section, we have some things. But
That's creepy.
I wondered how common it was.
Yeah.
And I could only find statistics for the US, but they're on the rise. There was a 20% increase between 2020 and 2021 of railroad deaths.
Like, as in, like, accident, like
That was all railroad deaths.
So does it include like railroad accidents?
Yes.
Oh, because there was quite a few.
Yes.
Amtrak did not have a good few years here.
No. Non-fatal injuries were up 4%, which is interesting that the number of deaths jumped so much, but the number of accidents only went up 4%. So most of the deaths are attributed to trespassers. So people who are like can't afford to buy a train ticket, so they're hopping cargo trains and things like that. It's a dangerous situation.
That is dangerous.
Maybe if you have another option, maybe don't. I know it looks romantic, but I was like, wouldn't the doors have opened if there was something caught?
You know, I thought about that. I thought about that because, well, being from Atlanta, well, you don't have to be from Atlanta. You've been to the Atlanta airport if you've traveled anywhere. You know, you ride the train in Atlanta airport. And okay, she doesn't say this anymore the same way, but back in the day, she used to say, the train doors are about to close. The train doors will not rebound.
No.
Please move away from the doors. The doors are about to close. Like, it was very clear. These will not rebound.
Wow. Ooh.
I know. And I always thought, they're bluffing. And I think they were, because I've definitely seen some people like, hit them and drag their suitcase through and get through, but barely. And I'm like, maybe it was just enough force to rebound them. Like, they don't have an automatic sensor, and they just like, poof, I've been here enough. Shut up, But like, I thought in this case, I was like, first of all, she's standing there and I'm like, emergency stop. Just pull the thing. The lever is like right there. If it's not right there, it's like right behind you. Haven't you been on a train before? Like, it's right there. Just pull it. Instead, she's like clawing at the door and like.
Well, she acts like we see in one point in the remembrances that she tries to and it's like not working or whatever.
But when she actually pulls the emergency stop.
Yeah, like it's like she can't do it. Like she
she's
can't pull it out.
Yeah, she's like fiddling with it. Of course, now
Right.
If you've watched, again, this is hard to talk about with the first 2 episodes.
Well, I think you see her trying to mess with it in the first couple episodes. But
you
anyway.
do, but I guess the point is, though, like later you see why she actually didn't. So we get to cut that out.
Southeastern Railway, which is a UK company, has some information about how to travel safely. And one of the things that they talk about is they have funny names for each of them. Scores on the doors. And they say that the doors are going to close 30 to 45 seconds before departure. They won't reopen automatically if you block them, and you could get stuck in the middle.
Well, they're very clear.
There you go.
These doors will not rebound.
Right. Yes. These will not rebound. That's basically what they say. So they're like, so there's yellow lines, mellow yellow, be on the other side of the line, and all of your clothing and accoutrement that you might have with you. Make sure that it's there. And then also he's going to get on the track to get a bit of money for her.
Yeah.
And they're like, definitely don't do that.
Hard no.
If you drop something, call somebody. Don't climb down there.
No.
Yeah, just don't ever do that.
It's gone.
I mean, aside from
your child.
A person has fallen on the tracks and you legitimately think that you are physically capable of helping them, don't get down on the tracks. And even then, find help.
Yes.
All of the sources that we use to inform our discussion here on Killer Fun Podcast can be found on our social media. Join us on Facebook at Killer Fun Podcast, exploring the intersection of crime and entertainment. You can find us on Twitter at Killer Fun Pod, or you can send us an email at killerfunpodcast@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to share a link to whatever information you're looking for. We love to hear from you. You might learn a little something too. Psychology break.
Okay. What you got?
So, Alex pees Merry Christmas in the snow, and it's gross.
That's gross.
Yeah, it is gross.
It's not cute.
He's very proud of himself for peeing in the snow. And, Nick's a little disgusted by it, but it's also like, yeah, whatever. It's kind of funny. And so I was like, why do people want to pee why do they want to write stuff with their pee in the snow?
I don't know.
That's a man thing.
I think it really is. They're the only ones who have any kind of control over where it goes.
Right. So yes, the New York Times had an article.
Oh my goodness. That's high level.
Not about peeing specifically, but how disgust explains everything.
Oh, well.
It's so fascinating. Paul Rosen, who's a psychologist who taught at the University of Pennsylvania for 52 years, did a ton of research on the topic of disgust.
Yes.
And it was so interesting, and that there's 6 basic emotions in psychology.
Thank you, Paul Ekman.
Yes, exactly. Anger, surprise, fear, enjoyment, sadness, and disgust. And he found that disgust had very little research attached to it. So he changed that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that there's kind of a paradox with the gross things, that we have a curious enticement. So if you clean your ear with a Q-tip, you look at it. Mm-hmm. If you go to the bathroom, you look at it.
Yes.
It's gross, but you're still going to look at it. It does give you information about your body, but we also watch like reality TV shows about plastic surgery, and that's kind of gross. Or Fear Factor was big for a long time, and that was consistently gross. And that we have a sense of disgust because you don't want to accidentally eat something that might kill you.
Yeah, it's evolutionarily important.
Right.
Actually.
But you don't have so much disgust that you don't eat anything and then you die because you starve because you're disgusted by everything.
Right.
Right. But we also have disgust not just at food, but at things like incest or bestiality or stinky armpits, or even the thought of being, submerged in a bucket of insects or something like that. I mean, we can feel disgust.
We like, ugh. Yeah, our nose does the particular thing that it does.
Yeah,
the crinkle and the flare.
Like as if we've smelled something bad, but
the curiosity is there. Like, ooh, this stinks. Smell this.
Yeah, they talk about that exactly. That it's a sort of a social feeling. Ooh, this is gross. Smell this. They also found that disgust was sort of an accurate predictor of political orientation. The more conservative you are, the higher your level of disgust will be with something. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Less tolerance for differences.
Right. And that's like that nice slide into contempt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And that we also sometimes get a bit of enjoyment, which is, I think, where this comes into play, peeing in the snow.
Right.
A little bit of enjoyment from the disgusting, that it's called benign masochism. So it's disgusting, but still we derive some pleasure from it.
Yeah, because it kind of breaks a rule. It pushes a boundary. It feels a little like freedom.
Right. And you can do it in this is kind of a safe way to explore that. This in the same way that horror movies or roller coasters or very spicy food can give you the same sort of reaction, but it feels like a safe way to control your environment. So Ollie fusses at Nick because he wants to be on time for school. They're watching some trashy reality television. And he's like, we need to leave for school or I'm going to be late. And she's the one who says, 2 more minutes.
Yeah, the roles reversed there.
Yes. So I'm seeing a little swap in the parent-child relationship there.
Yeah.
And we see it a number of times.
We do.
Parents.com has an article about parentification, which is why I believe what is happening here. It is a role reversal between a parent and child, where they give either practical or emotional support to their caregiver.
Right.
Now, a healthy relationship, the parent cares for a child, both for their practical needs and their emotional needs, and doesn't expect a child to also do that for them.
Right.
Now, of course, as they get a little older, you can start to have more of you build towards a more adult relationship with your kid. You might be able to lean on them or share things that were hard with you so that they can understand you a little better, but you're not relying on them to emotionally support you.
Yeah, there's a difference between really that role reversal taking place and having expectations of certain, character traits such as kindness and empathy that you kind of require of your child, and you model it by saying you ought to have empathy for me about this, or don't, you need to care about how this impacts me. But nevertheless, you have that two roles on. I'm sharing a truth,
right?
But I'm also doing it with the hope of educating my child,
right?
Bringing them up.
And you might share things with them without an expectation of them giving you any advice on it, which parentification would require the child to then come up with a solution for the parent.
And again, that's the same thing that happens. Like, there's a difference between bringing them in and asking their advice because they happen to be good at something, but you're still the parent in the room.
Yep.
Right? Like, I remember when my kiddos were younger, they had certain talents and certain skills. And, if I wasn't sure, which necklace or which shoes or whatever, I'd go in there and be like, which one? Which one? Because they had a good eye. So, all right, fine. And so, like, okay, tell me which one. But I was still the parent in the room, and they knew it.
Right. Well, and you weren't going to say, your dad is sick and the doctors think you should be treated this way. What do you think?
Right. Like, this is not that. Yes. You bring them in on the things that are, so that they can get the opportunity to practice, looking at another person's situation. In the meantime, also very helpful because they had a good eye.
That's good.
So, little things.
Yeah. So why does parentification happen? It's typically because the parent is experiencing a physical or emotional impairment that impacts their ability to be a reliable caretaker.
I think we have that case.
I think that
this is what's happening.
This is absolutely what is happening. If a parent dies, or there's financial hardship, or parent might just be flat out neglectful, it has a profound effect on children.
Yeah.
That they don't get validations of their feelings. They have to deal with them on their own. They might feel self-doubt, or they might not understand why their relationship with their parent is so different from that of friends. How they can see that there's a change, but they don't know how to fix it because they're children.
Right. And we see this with Nick because she's in grief.
Yeah.
Over Alex's death.
And she's not really able to really process it very well.
No, because she can't explain why she's in such grief. Because nobody's supposed to know.
Right. Exactly. And it can have effects into adulthood. It can cause anxiety, fears of abandonment, anger, trust issues, intimacy avoidance. I mean, all of these, there are things that have long-reaching effects. So, don't do it. And here's the hard thing. Not every side effect of parentification is bad, because it can have consequences, quote unquote, that are desirable. Like, they might be really good caregivers, or they have high emotional intelligence, or they're very empathetic. I mean, these are all things that be results of their parentification, and yet they're not necessarily destructive.
Yeah, it's hard because the children in that situation are forced to rise to a challenge.
Right.
That really does result in all of the positives of challenges if the family unit is supportive, because it's more of if they're unloved and they're having to try to parent, what you force them then into is like either a codependent or pro-dependent situation versus say a parent who has become ill and the children have taken on some sort of more roles of self-responsibility than they should have at that age or whatever, but the family shows their appreciation and praises for how well they have come up with that, and like maybe even gives advice to them as they're having to take more on themselves, and then they can feel proud about the fact that they've been able to take care of their parents when the parents weren't able.
Right.
And that can have really good consequences, even though they still miss out on a lot of particular growth that they're going to have to make up for later.
Right.
Even if they've gained these great skills.
Right. And sometimes it's just unavoidable.
Sometimes it's
Sometimes
just unavoidable.
you can't. You can't just make your life perfect so that your kids can have a perfect childhood. It's just...
No, well, in a season like of grief, it might happen. They'll get a taste of it, and it won't last forever, and that's okay. So you don't have to feel guilty that sometimes your kids have to maybe rise to an occasion or give you space or start to see you as a person early if it's a season,
right?
Because as long as you all grow together,
right, and that's just life.
That's just life.
Yeah,
that's just life,
right. Mm-hmm. So Nick decidedly does not like her neighbor and fellow school mom, Lucy. But Nick really wants Lucy to like her.
I love how honest she was about that.
She was. No, I don't like her, but I want her to like me.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So why do we want to be liked by people whom we dislike?
I mean...
Baggage Reclaim has an article about this very thing. And it probably has to do with our relationship with disapproval. Even if we don't like this person, we like to have the illusion that we have some sort of control over it. So we want them to like us, even though we don't like them. We want them to pursue us, even though we know they can't change our mind about us liking them. We're making judgments about that person. We may have reasons to dislike them that are true. I would say, I don't know that I particularly care for Lucy, but I don't really care for Nick either. So, I can see that, but also I don't know that I would feel the need to have Lucy chase me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she feels a little rejected by Lucy because Lucy doesn't offer her a ride to school when she could clearly use it. Though I can see I don't have the right kind of seat to keep Ollie safe in my car. Maybe I don't. She already said she's going to walk. Maybe they want to walk this morning.
Right.
Whatever.
Like if they wanted to drive, they could get their own car.
Right. So it's more about us wanting to have control over a situation.
That makes sense.
We want the opportunity to reject them. We don't want them to reject us. We want them to like us.
I get that.
Yeah.
I do.
So Nick seems to be suffering from prolonged grief. This is a new addition to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the DSM colloquially. The American Psychiatric Association just added it to the newest version pretty recently. It is close to complicated grief.
It's close.
But it's got a few little differences where you really can't function.
Right. And they had to differentiate it not just from complicated grief, but from PTSD.
Right.
Which, honestly, Nick has.
Yes.
Let's be clear. She was there when somebody died.
Yeah.
She was there when somebody died. She was a part of the situation.
She was a part of the situation, and she hasn't been able to deal with it in a very healthy manner because there were so many secrets.
There were so many secrets that even the manner of death is a secret, honestly.
Right.
So, she is in full PTSD.
Right.
Right. But also this prolonged grief.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is only coming up to a year.
Okay. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
and prolonged grief cannot be diagnosed prior to 1 year following whatever event might have caused it.
But she's not making a lot of progress, so I don't have hope that after the year she's gonna be all right.
She's gonna be prolonged, complicated, whatever.
Yeah, no, prolonged. I mean, because complicated grief really involves a level of depression she also doesn't exhibit.
Right.
So, I think the prolonged, but also different. It would be hard to differentiate from the PTSD, but having a traumatic event as part of it,
right?
It could teeter between the two,
yeah,
or the two could be bidirectional for her right now. Yeah,
real life.
So
in the summer of 2022, there was a spate of people in London trains getting caught in the doors.
Oh my goodness. This is really a thing that's happening?
Oh, it really happened after filming, but before it aired. So it was June of 2022.
Okay.
And there were 3 different incidents all in this 6 days where this happened. And it was all because people had put something in the way of the door in order to try and stop the train. So one person stuck their hand in the door and it closed on their hand and the train started going.
Oh.
And they ran, but then were able to pull their hand out. Okay. Another person put a walking stick in it.
Oh.
Like a cane or a walking stick. And another person put an umbrella.
Okay.
In the doors. So because these items were relatively small, it needs to be several inches before the door will pop back open.
Okay.
So if it closed on like you going sideways through the door, it should pop back open on these particular trains. But because it was smaller, like a hand or an umbrella or a cane, they did not pop back open, so they got caught. So that now the cane and the umbrella, the people held on to the thing and ran alongside of the train.
Right.
They should have just let go.
They should let go.
But trains do have a driver, an operator, and they do have cameras that they're supposed to be checking to make sure that there's no way. So none of these people got dragged.
Right.
I mean, the trains all stopped. Like the people were able within a few meters.
Okay.
These people were able to either free themselves or the train stopped. And then like the person whose hand got stuck in, they ran 9 meters or something alongside the train before they got their hand out. And then the driver sees that there's something happening and stopped the train. Okay. All of these incidences, they stopped the train. So basically they're saying is, we're going to train our drivers to be more cognizant. We're going to do a better job of making sure that the cameras that are on the sides of these trains are pointed in the right direction so you can be able to see. I find it very unlikely that the situation that as we see it, played out the way it did.
Yeah. Where his coat is stuck through.
Right. And he's being dragged.
Because it's actually the front buttons. So he can't just get out of it either.
Right.
Really. Well, I probably could. I feel like I'd be slinky enough to just, put my arms up and slink out of it. But like he's being dragged by the coat, and then it's really another train passing by that hits him.
Right.
Yeah,
he gets smashed. The train probably, they wouldn't have gone that far.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I feel like it's improbable.
There was a whole set of situations that were not completely dissimilar to what happened in the show that happened after filming, but before it was.
Well, these kind of things that are like unlikely, they're only unlikely until it happens. And then you realize, wow, that's a possibility.
That's right. It could still be unlikely.
Yes. But a possibility.
Now it's slightly more likely now that you've heard about it.
Yeah, it's possibility. And maybe it's like not worth somebody dying over.
Jen was telling Nick about a guy on a dating site who left her a message and called her baby girl. So first, this is twofold. First, we're going to talk about Connection Copilot has an article, what it means when a man calls you baby girl. So
I'm holding back so much.
I know you are. I see it. We're going to get there. Hold on. You can explode in a minute. He thinks you're lovely. He's genuinely interested in you. He wishes you were his girlfriend. He wants you to feel special. He's flirting and wants to show affection. Maybe he just doesn't know your real name, but these are the things that they might mean when they say that. But Jen and Nick find this utterly disgusting. But all the way back from September of 2012, the San Francisco Gate said women hate being called babe.
Babe,
baby girl, baby doll. These are babe is in the title, but baby doll, baby girl, sweet cheeks. All these things are no.
It is so hard.
Hate it. I'm not an infant. I don't need you to be my daddy.
But when Morgan calls Penelope baby girl, it's amazing. This is Criminal Minds.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the relationship between Morgan and Penelope on Criminal Minds.
Okay.
he calls her baby girl.
Okay.
And it's like the most endearing, beautiful, wonderful, like melt your heart kind of thing. But they do a flashback at one point where Morgan is there and doesn't know Penelope's name.
Okay.
And needs the technical analyst, and they point her out as she's walking by, and he turns around and he says, "Baby girl." And she turns around and she is all kinds of what?
Uh-huh.
But then Morgan is beautiful.
Uh-huh.
And apologizes immediately. "I'm sorry. I didn't know your name." And then kind of the charm overwhelms Penelope because he's apologized and then said, "I'm sorry." And she shakes his hand and says something to the effect, "Well, only you." Like she flirts right back. And then this begins this whole thing.
Okay.
But nobody else calls her baby girl.
Okay.
Nobody else. So like it became like this thing. But like in general,
Don't call me baby. Don't call. No.
It is a weird.
Nothing that makes me a child and takes away my agency.
Okay, I'm having to relearn this.
Okay.
Because I definitely grew up in a time where that was totally like being called, "Hey, babe."
Okay.
Hey, babe.
See, and babe doesn't bother me as much, like, especially if it's like colloquial.
But that's the same thing. It's where it's from. "Hey, babe." "Hey, baby." You know, like,
Yeah.
and in songs,
Yeah.
you know, we sing "baby" and
I don't
all of
like
these
it in
things.
songs either.
And it's weird because I grew up in a time where that was like an absolute symbol of being, you know, desired.
Mm-hmm.
And so it went right alongside. But then if you call me babe, I'm going to think of two different things also. I'm going to think of Babe, the
pig.
movie. Yeah, the pig. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Like, I don't know. And then also I'm going to think of Dorothy and her deadbeat husband Stan.
Hey, babe.
"Hey, babe."
Oh, see, and I'm thinking of The Office during the dinner party. They're like, "Hey, babe. Hey, babe." And it's really uncomfortable.
No.
And I'm like,
Dorothy turns to Stan and says, "Don't call me babe."
yeah. Good for her.
Good for her.
Well, and I had my great aunt. She was called Babe. We called her Annie Babe, but that was because that was literally a nickname since she was a child.
Literally a nickname,
and she had
that's different,
right? And that's different. That's what I think of. But I also am like, no, don't infantilize a woman.
It's not okay. It's not okay. And I'm telling that to myself as I try to drop this habit
Okay.
of thinking like that it's cute and adorable and cool.
I hate it.
I know. It's just
hate it.
amazing.
It calls me, but here's names. If you think you want to call a woman baby girl,
Okay.
let me give you some options. Call her beautiful, call her lovely, call her love, call her darling, even honey is better. I love honey myself. I think that one's sweet. You're calling me sweet. I like that. I like being called sweet.
All right. I don't know what.
But I'm also sticky and dangerous. That's good. I like that a little bit.
That's nice. I didn't think about that.
I'm hard to get because you got to
yeah.
fight all the bees.
That's interesting. Yeah, honey.
So, but don't call me baby. My husband
I'm
knows
gonna work
this well.
on this. I'm gonna work on this.
You can call me baby. A man can't call me baby. And my husband knows this really well and never would. You can call me baby.
Okay, baby girl.
All right. And moving into our last thing, which is kind of fun.
Okay, tell me.
So at the beginning, Nick calls Lucy a donut on their way to school.
Yeah.
Like, she's such a donut. And Ollie admonishes her. Another way he's parentified.
Yeah.
That she sounds like a cast member from Love Island.
I didn't get that.
Oh, okay. You didn't hear that bit?
I mean, I didn't get it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't understand it.
Okay, so Love Island is trashy reality TV show.
Okay.
Where they're like, I think they go as couples. And then they like try and figure out if they're going to stay together or hook up with other couples.
Okay.
Trashy reality television. I'm telling you. It's a big deal. But Love Island has their own like lingo.
Oh, okay then.
And so there's some funny lingo from Love Island that we should talk about from Cosmopolitan. And they call this the comprehensive and 100% unofficial guide to Love Island lingo.
Oh, okay. All right. Help us, Cosmo.
They might say on job, and that's when they're actively trying to figure out who they have a connection with. So-and-so is really on job today, or this guy is on job with this girl. They're trying to figure out if they can hook up.
Okay.
The ick. So where you're dating somebody and suddenly you can't stand the sight of them.
Yeah.
I got the ick. Mm-hmm. Then there's sauce, which is your personality, your character, who makes you you. We see this in the second episode. The makeup artist who's doing Nick's makeup before her wedding.
Right.
Tells her she has all kinds of sauce.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's her whole personality. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. Because they're using a term from Love Island in the second episode. After having admonished her for using a term.
And you know what that makes me think of My Fair Lady. Don't be so saucy. You ain't even heard of it. I come for yet.
Yep.
You know, saucy.
It's a similar sort of situation.
Don't be so saucy.
Yeah. It's a more positive, like you have a lot of spunk.
Yeah.
Sort of
it's
situation.
Changed like from being saucy to being sassy.
Right. Melt means that you're just like absolutely ridiculously attracted to somebody and you can't control your behavior very well when you're around them. So like I'm acting a total tuna melt over this girl.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of funny. Grafting, trying to get somebody to work to like you. You're trying to like graft
graft them.
Like a horticultural term, and then praying out. I don't behave erratically. Everyone's praying out.
Okay.
I don't. It's weird.
That one feels less.
I feel like
it doesn't fall off the tongue the way the others do.
Yeah. I'm like, this is like, no wonder people need a little dictionary to figure out what the heck these people are saying.
I understand. I'm from the South.
Yeah. Right. Things that you just say, they don't make sense.
Other people don't understand that. Like, I'm fixing to do this.
Oh, yeah. Fixing to.
I'm fixing to. But also, all the fixins. But we're fixing to watch something else.
That's right. We are. We're fixing to watch White House Plumbers.
I cannot wait.
With Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux.
Okay, wait. Complete aside. Did you hear about the Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey thing?
Yes, that they might be brothers.
They might be brothers. And that might like actually be legit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Harrelson would take a DNA test immediately.
Oh, yeah.
But Matthew McConaughey's like, I don't know, because it would wreck his entire childhood and world.
Well, and I believe his dad, or who he believes is his dad, is still living.
Oh, yes.
So he'd like, he wouldn't lose his dad, but he feels like he'd lose his dad.
Well, it would just throw so much into chaos.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I did. Did you see him on Colbert?
No.
Oh, they talk about that.
No. I just read things.
Yeah.
And I was
no.
Okay. But I can't wait to see Woody.
Yeah.
In this show.
Yeah. And you know, Woody Harrelson's dad was a hitman.
Oh, yeah. He was a hitman for real.
Yeah. Like legit.
Like, yeah.
So, but it's premiering on HBO on May 1st, and it's about Nixon and Watergate.
I cannot wait.
It looks funny, and I hope that they can put a funny, positive? I don't know. There's a positive spin on, the impeachment of a president, but especially not for
no, but maybe something
concerns.
like, I don't know, positive's not the right word, but enjoyable.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
Entertaining.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. We know you make a choice when you listen to us. We don't just come on the radio. If you have a friend you think might like the show, please do tell them, because it's way more fun when you listen with a friend. And until next time, be safe, be kind, and wash your hands.
Da, da, da.